Good morning. Welcome back again. We are in week 3, lesson 3, unit 3, and we are going to focus on the elements of art this week. Let's dive in. Have you guys ever been in the kitchen cooking something, brownies, cake, dessert, anything like that? And have you ever had a disaster? Ah! Can you recall a time you had a disaster in the kitchen? Think about it for a moment. Ooh. Take a moment to sketch and reflect in your sketchbook on why that was a failure, that experience. 3 minutes or so. One of the things that I enjoyed the most this summer is being able to be home and cook. I love to cook. I love to get fresh ingredients. In the photograph that you see there on the left, I was able to grow all my own herbs and really just have fun in the kitchen playing. But I also know that in order to have a really good meal, I needed to have all the ingredients. So I found myself constantly going to the store a lot because I always wanted to cook and I wanted to make sure I had everything I needed. So I have a discussion about cooking and ingredients. Hopefully by now you'll understand that in order to bake something or have a successful meal, I would need to have all the ingredients. Well, that same idea is what we need when we create a work of art. And those basic foundational ingredients that we need are what we call the elements of art. That's what we're focusing on this week in this lesson. Think of the elements of art as the building blocks used by an artist to create a work of art. Sounds like building blocks to me are like ingredients, items needed to create something more. The elements of art are line, shape, form, value, color, texture, and space. By now, you should have watched the YouTube videos that go into detail about each of the 7 elements of art. For those of you who haven't, or just for a refresher, here are the elements of art with their definitions. Take a moment and review these. Your first assignment is a synthesis to reflect, and that's the opportunity for you to really focus and take in on the content and information that you've learned and reflect on it in your sketchbook. Part A, in your sketchbooks or journals, summarize each element of art in your own words. Part B, beside each term, draw an example of the application of the term. As always, I encourage you to research ideas that artists have done to get inspired. You can Google sketchbook assignments, elements of art, and principles of design. That'll give you a preview of what is to come. Or you can just come up with something completely on your own. No pressure. All right, kiddos, are you ready to dive in so we can make some amazing art? Yay! Again, here are the elements of art so that you can always go back and preview them. Now that you have a good understanding of the elements of art, you're going to actually demonstrate your ability to conceptualize, think, a work of art and create a non-objective composition that demonstrates the use of the elements of art. So line, shape, form, color, texture, value, space. How can I use all of those elements of art to create an abstract work of art? Here are some examples on the page right here. These are 4 different examples of how artists have used them. And you see some of the lines are straight, organic, jagged. There's so many possibilities that you can use to create the work of art. You can use oil pastels, crayons, markers, colored pencils. There's so many possibilities. Be sure to fill out the general art supply request form if you need additional supplies. Here's an example of an exemplar. Look at the lines that are being used. these are what we call organic, free-flowing, resembling of nature. But to keep an abstract idea, I couldn't have it resemble too much of anything. So there's so many different lines and colors that are combining together. There's also a lot of principles in here, but we will learn about that on our next lesson. But you see line, you see shape, which is a line closed. You see color, you see value, form, and there's even a little bit of texture in there. Not as much that it could be, but it's still in there. This is an example of what is a possibility. As always, I want you to be successful in every single project that you complete. So go back and look at your notes, look at the YouTube links that I sent you, follow along with the tutorial guide and the PDF teacher guided lecture, and that will give you all the answers that you need. If you need supplies, be sure to complete the general art supplies form. Again, happy creating from yours truly,